Ashley from The Awakened State. Today I want to talk about the concept of spiritual burnout. Sometimes you may find, and this is very common in the spiritual community, that we have an overactive third eye. And what happens when we have an overactive third eye is we tend to be all like up in our heads, but we're not grounded fully into our body. And this happens because we're usually reaching a point of spiritual burnout, to the point where we are so in our head that we're not grounding all that spiritual energy back into our bodies and centering all that energy. And what I really find is people will often be anxious or fearful or doubtful, or just have a lot of doubt about their intuition or following their awareness. They're less tuned in. And while we always talk about the importance of the third eye, we also need to consider that it's also about grounding all this energy back into the earth and into our bodies. And a lot of people in the New Age community will be very open energetically, but they're not centering that energy, and they're not grounding it and being present with their energy. You will find that they are very fearful, or they have this lack mentality, and all of that is due to being in that feeling of being in the black hole, where you're circling your thoughts and you're circling your feelings through the past and the future and the past and the future. And that's because of that overactive third eye. So we create all this spiritual burnout because we're almost overgiving. We're overactive. We are always wanting to look at tarot cards daily, or we want to keep up with meditating all the time and doing all these things all the time and doing all this like spiritual practice, to the point where we are burning ourselves out and not getting grounded with our energy bodies, grounded into our bodies, doing physical movement, physical activity, and we get too much in our head that we lose the heart center and we lose that groundedness that really creates that beautiful mind-body connection. And this is a concept I've been learning a lot about lately, is if the mind does not believe, the feeling cannot live in the body. And this is such a cool concept. I learned this from Andy Love, and I love this because it teaches you that the more grounded and centered we are in our energy, the more we're in alignment with source energy. And being in alignment with source energy just allows everything to flow more and be at ease, versus feeling that pull, or that almost like that pushing energy where you have to like control things, or you feel controlled, or you're in almost a victim mentality. And that really deals with spiritual burnout. So my suggestions are, if you are caught in spiritual burnout, is you need to do more like human-like activities, cut back on the meditating or anything that's making you overwhelmed. Because a lot of people, when they're new to the practice and they're new to spirituality, and they just want to soak up everything they can learn, and they want to keep doing that over and over and over. And a lot of the times when we do that, we don't allow that integration process. And so that means cutting back and pulling back so you can find clarity and allow that energy to integrate. And we do that best by almost going back to like very human-like activities, like slowing down, or watching a funny movie, or doing like just something you enjoy, or like a creativity thing, or just getting yourself back into that aligned state where you are present and open. Allows that humanness to come out, and it helps us ground back into our physical bodies. Also, yoga is great for that, or even just doing like a walk in nature would help, because you're getting to that point where you're getting so in your head that you're not feeling grounded in your body. And it almost creates this like dissociative feeling where we feel above ourselves in many ways, because we're we're soaking up so much spiritual information at a time that we're not allowing all that energy to integrate and integrate and integrate. And I feel Kundalini awakening, the most powerful thing we can do is once we start attaining this spiritual power and this spiritual knowledge, is we have to start grounding that energy and going deeper and deeper and deeper into the process by integrating it and bringing that energy back into the root and into the earth and into our bodies and most of all into our experiences. And the more we keep doing that, we're creating this beautiful mirrored conversation that is illustrating not just what we've been learning like through the internal journey, we're starting to alchemize that into our physical world. And this is where it's fun to learn, but at the same time, you start creating a doing. You start urging that energy to come back into your awareness and into your reality. And the more you keep doing that, it builds this whole new momentum, which creates an enormous shift of how we are viewing our spiritual journey, because it's no longer just an internal process. We are finally moving that third eye awareness into our bodies and into our physical reality. So yes, my advice is, if you're feeling spiritual burnout, drop the tarot cards and do something fun, normal, watch a silly movie, slow down, cuddle on the couch with your family, whatever you need to do. Just make sure you are personally slowing down and allowing the integration process to happen. When we get caught up in that, I need to do all of these things, we're not allowing ourselves to slow down and witness the shift that is in progress. And that's the real secret of transformation.